Yes, people, welcome back to BBK Sports. I don't even know what to say. I'm at a loss for words today. I'm joined by the man, the legend, formerly known as Mr. Robo, newly branded as the Latvian Gooner, man who speaks what, four languages, and if you include Arsenal and football, five and six languages fluently. Mr. Robo, Latvian Gooner. What you saying, bro? Making your debut on BBK Sports. Welcome, man. Welcome to have you.
The
How
big
are
up,
you?
big up, big up. Thank you for having me in first place. To be
Yeah, man.
honest, took some time, but we got there finally. like, like with everything going on, but overall, all fine, all good. Enjoying some football to some extent.
Yeah,
Not enjoying the transfer window. Otherwise, pretty damn good. Wish
yeah,
there was some sun outside though. Otherwise,
yeah.
it's just great doom and gloom. 2 days. Well, the plus. Oh, you're in US. I don't even know Fahrenheit.
Mhm.
I don't compute that well. It's
It's
well
kind of yeah. So
plus
normally
30.
anything in the 30s is usually like 95 and up for us. So it's pretty
Okay.
hot. Yeah,
Well, it was like that for 2 days, of course, during work days.
yeah.
Come weekend, plus 17, and well, rain,
Mm.
and like that, like a whole next week is getting promised like that. So no summer here, at least. No summer here.
Awesome. But yeah, man, no summer transfer window. It seems like our football club is forgetting that the window is open and that we kick preseason ball on what 23, the 23rd of July, which is what 18 days away. So it'd be fair to surmise that in a week or so we should be training. We should have our squad together. We should be training. If people are coming from overseas, they need to be in the UK so they can get their kids in school, get their families sorted, so they can focus on the football. But we don't seem to be doing that. But the big news as of today that's trending all over the place, my friend, is I blame Shanguna for this because he put this nasty energy in the atmosphere a couple weeks ago. Noni Madueke, another I don't want to say Chelsea reject, Chelsea flop, but another Chelsea player, Chelsea prodigy, on his way to Arsenal. It seems like. What are your thoughts?
Don't even know. Like, what, to some extent, like, what's the point?
Mm,
Because my biggest concern is like obviously 50 million or something like that. Preposterous, outrageous, just in the first place. That just seems like insane amount of money just to throw around. Like since we have thrown it around already and nowhere to be seen, to be honest, in terms of quality on the pitch. But right now, I'm sitting here. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at Ethan's contract that
mhm.
ends in 1 year, and then just like what where are we going to go with this? Because technically speaking, when Yeri can play 10, Arteta wants to see him wide, maybe as a number 9. He said that in an interview some time ago.
Mm.
But what's the plan for him? Because he's at the moment in negotiations, and if you can believe the reports, of course, the good ones, he the biggest debate is about the game time and the future plan.
Mhm.
And if Madueke comes in as a right winger,
Yeah.
where where do we go? Unless okay, he sees him as a Odegaard backup. Let's just put it that way for the sake of an argument. And then you look how many times Odegaard gets subbed off. Maybe, but again, that is not enough, though, is it?
Mhm.
Instead of him, and personally, if we can re-sign him, I would loan him out.
Mhm.
Like there are lots of takers. Even if he doesn't resign, then we are done. We genuinely are done. It could turn into well, back in the day, Chelsea situation with KDB, Salah, Cuadrado, and players like that.
Yeah.
We could see our own another Gnabry with higher
Mhm.
ceiling than Gnabry actually.
Yeah.
We could see go. So for me, that is a big worry. But in terms of Madueke on his own, like it's insane because I kind of want to say he's a flop, but he's only 23, something like that. Like he's not that old. He hasn't been there a long time. Then again, Havertz wasn't there for a long time, and we have
Yeah.
seen how that has gone. Although Havertz won them Champions League, still living off that, I guess. Like it is what it is, I guess, in that regard. But I'm hella confused where we're gonna go with this because For me personally, those 50 million can be used elsewhere and in much better positions, more urgent situation matters to attend at hand that we have at the club. And does that influence the fact that we are not getting a left winger? Does that influence we are not getting a striker? Does that influence we are not getting, I don't know, number 10 or another left back potentially? Because I still believe we need one. Like, for me, that money kind of gets thrown around like we did with who we have signed, like Pablo Maris, Williams, Cedric Soares, Fabio Vieira. Although, yes, I read that we want to sell Fabio Vieira. Like, that could be nice. Like 50 million, that was insane. Although that was in a swap deal, 50 million plus Fabio Vieira or Gyökeres, allegedly. Whether that's true or not, obviously, we're never going to know, most likely. But that actually wouldn't be that bad if we can put it in those terms. But overall, signing Madueke, given that we all laugh at Madueke when he plays for Chelsea, we did this with Havertz and the other players. Right now, it looks like it's going to come back to haunt us big time. And everyone who put in the universe that we are also might get Nkunku, Action Jackson, and play that, oh, bloody hell. Because if you put Madueke out there that he could join Arsenal and he's joining.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the thing for me with the Madueke thing, right? You know how when that first failed title charge when we signed Zinchenko and we signed Jesus, and first season they played well, especially Jesus up until the World Cup pre-November 22. And then the following season, the narrative came is we outgrew them, right? We outgrew Zinchenko, we outgrew Jesus, yeah, and which was fair because it's true because we have outgrown him. What it seems to me is like Chelsea have outgrown Madueke. They've outgrown Nkunku and all these other players, Jackson, and they want to offload them. And it seems that Arsenal is just doing the trash man cleanup business. With Madueke, for me, I don't like it. Part of it is twofold. With Madueke, they want to give us Madueke, but they want to be linked with Ethan. It seems as though we are further along in our process phase, whatever we want to call it, than Chelsea are in theirs. And if Madueke isn't good enough for their project, how is he good enough for ours? Like, if someone can explain to me how that makes sense, I'd love to hear it. He's not. We're meant to. I'm not sure Chelsea's aim this season. Last year, Chelsea made it clear we're not in the title race. We want to get top 4, right? We want the title. We're closer to the title than they are, so to speak. So if he wasn't good enough for their project to make top 4, how is he meant to be good enough for our project to win the title? And with Ethan, the backup Pasaka is already in the club. Why are we going to waste 50 million for it? Why are we going to pay 50 million for Madueke when we have the guy in the squad who can cover for Odegaard, who can play Pasaka? This just stinks to me as an Arteta signing, to where it seems like this guy's an agent meant to destroy the club from the inside, bro. You know, I just Madueke scored 7 goals last season. 7.
Well, that's the same amount as any of our attackers, to be honest.
Right. Matter of fact, it's less than Martinelli. Martinelli scored 8 goals, so we universally say that Martinelli had a stinker season. And to add to that, just to put some context around Madueke, 3 of those goals was in a hat-trick against Wolves in August when they won the game 6-2. So in a further 31 games and 6-7 months of football, he mustered up 3 goals.
Yeah, 3. But you can say, well, yeah, only 3, but you can say that about Arsenal in general, like that, not the last one, the previous season when we finished 1 point behind the Man City. We had the same thing for the first half a year. We put Havertz in midfield and we struggled like no tomorrow. 1-7 in December, draws against 10-man Fulhams and teams like that. Yeah. And then we basically, second part of the season, put Havertz up top. He hit a purple patch. It went all fine and dandy from the overall view. But if you look deeper, we scored. It was the season where we scored record amount of goals.
Yeah, that was 23.
Exactly. So that means that also that second part of the season, it covered up those 4 or 5 months covered up all the insufficiencies from the first half. So it's kind of more or less the same situation for me. He scored a hat-trick in 2 goals in 1 game. That is almost the whole tally. And now we scored about, let's just say, 40 goals or 50 for the sake of argument in the second part of the season that covered up everything we didn't do before. And if he misses open net chances, we already have enough of those in our club, to be honest. And they and that person also is ironically from Chelsea.
Yeah.
Like it's like rinse and repeat and never-ending situation. What it feels like. Next thing you know, we're gonna sign another fifth-choice goalkeeper from them, like Jorgensen, and we're gonna go there. And if you look how Chelsea again does it for us, they take our best players, and then they take Hutchinson for free, play him for genuinely for split second microwave minutes, and then sell him for 20 plus to Ipswich.
Yeah.
Why we don't? Why couldn't we do that? Loan him out even to Ipswich and then sell him with buy option or obligation to buy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We just fund their FFP in that regard.
Yeah.
They can go against.
Does this Madueke, do you think this is an Arteta signing or a Bertha signing? That's because that's the title of the video. Who is in charge at Arsenal of these transfers? Who has the final say? Like, does Bertha, do you think that Bertha has a list of players with a certain profile and then Arteta picks one from the bunch? Or Arteta gives Bertha, hey, I want this guy as my plan A, that guy as my plan B? Because this, you can't tell me that Andrea Bertha came from Milan and Madueke was in his dossier and his journal of football contacts. I can't believe it. Big up, Mike.
I'd like big up everyone in the chat. Like and subscribe, people, by the way. But yeah, it feels that way. It's not Andrea Bertha because you cannot convince me that Kepa was on Bertha's list, for example, or Norgard or someone like that. Well, Norgard, maybe, to be honest, maybe you could, but it was said when we signed Norgard technically, right? That Arteta pushed for the move hard. Yeah. Arteta last summer pushed hard for Calafiori and Merino, and Hierarchy had disagreements about the injury record of Calafiori, and they thought Merino wasn't good enough. Yet Mikel Arteta put his fist down and said, I want them. And Arteta indicated, well, more or less that he gets the final say on the signings anyways. That was about 3 seasons ago. So that was under Edu, of course. And with Bertha coming in, looking at his dossier, what he has done and everything, everyone expected Bertha to get basically a rule with a hammer fist like Thor or something like that, basically, to some extent. But it just doesn't convince me that like that it's happening. Like, and at the end of the day, it's boring. Let's just put it that way. Gyökeres links, amazing, to be honest. That thing I love. And if I'm not mistaken, it was somewhere I read an article where Diego Simeone wanted Alvarez, Bertha wanted Gyökeres, and Atleti went above Bertha's head and signed Alvarez at the end of the day, apparently. But yeah, I think the multiple signings, that is how Bertha does things. That's at least how Atleti fans also say he does things, and it kind of is great because you always have plan B or plan C, because it felt like Arsenal before never had that. At the same time, it causes so much chaos and uncertainty that you never gonna know what's gonna happen. And now you hear we have Eze, we have contacts, no bits. Madueke, personal terms already agreed. Rogers just gets thrown around just because we need the third name, what it feels like, because Rogers is the only one of those left wing technically spots we have heard nothing about, you could even say, besides that he is on the list. Just put it that way. And striker, the less said than better, let's be real. And like, it feels like Andrea Bertha gets a say, but it is not as influential as maybe we would like to think. I still believe that Mikel Arteta has some power to say, nope, no chance in hell. I want my Spanish brothers and they come here.
Yeah, I hear it. Sky Sports reported that Arteta as a heavy hand in recruiting, and I'm inclined to believe it based on who we're linked with and who we're actually signed. Because Kepa, I think he wanted Kepa, Spanish brother, like you said, Moreno, Zubamendi, and all this stuff. And these are the facts of the situation. It's July 5th that we've signed one player, and that's a backup goalkeeper. Zubamendi is still an if for me. Until I see him holding up the shirt, he's an if. Mascara, if. Until I see him holding up the shirt. A part of me is concerned with this Madueke thing because I actually think it's going to happen. I told the Waffle Down yesterday, like, yeah, bro, I'm no longer just easily going to dismiss any more Chelsea links because I got burnt with the Kai Havertz one when we got linked.
The same was about Havertz. We got linked. Nah, it's not going to happen. Definitely not going to happen. And a few weeks later, bang.
The man was holding up the shirt at Kepa's wedding, right? And now both of them are at the club. Matter of fact, I think it was you that reminded me that it was at Kepa's wedding that they announced his signing and interviewed him while he was at the damn wedding. That is crazy. Big up to Boy 10 says, I'm on the verge of losing it, man. Now, if you're on the verge of losing it, are you talking about the Madueke signing or with the Ethan links to Chelsea? Because I believe if Ethan goes to like a Dortmund or something, Because Dortmund have shown that they have, they churn out great players, Aubameyang, Gundogan, the Bellingham, and all that.
Yeah.
But if he goes across the street to Chelsea, where he's not even guaranteed to get more playing time over there, then that's going to really irritate me, because it seems as though that would be so damaging to the club, because I don't believe Arteta will be here in 3-4 years. And then in 3-4 years, Nwaneri could literally be £100 million player, bro.
Okay, will be.
And then we're stuck looking. We won't even have first refusal on him. We'll look like a bunch of dummies and not moving seriously. And I think one of the reasons why Nwaneri hasn't signed a new contract is like, bro, I don't trust my footballing career with this manager.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. He scored 4 Premier League goals last year in 800 and something minutes. That's more than Odegaard.
Yes.
Odegaard scored 3 Premier League goals last season, people. Like, I'm not making this up to run an agenda against our captain. These are the facts. And I had an argument this morning with an Arsenal fan in another group chat, because I hate when they do this, Mr. Robo, when we link with a player, or a player demands more minutes, and the first thing out their mouth is, well, where's this guy going to play? Where's that guy going to? I hate that, because I still haven't heard one Liverpool fan say, where is McAllister going to play? Or where's Gravenberch going to play? Or where's Szoboszlai going to play when they sign Wirtz? I haven't heard that argument not one time.
Mm-hmm.
But why is it that whenever we're linked to a player that can improve our squad, or a player from our academy that can improve the squad, it's, well, where's he going to play? That's the manager's job to figure out.
15 million a year,
Yeah. So, oh my God, man!
It is like that, and you can bet everything on it. That if Chelsea, in some weird parallel scenario, they get him, less than a year, he will go for 30, 40, 50 million if he gets even loaned out. If he goes to Borussia Dortmund or RB Leipzig even, right? He will play there 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And then for 18, 19 million, most likely he will be shipped off to another Premier League side, or in La Liga, or wherever. Because it's not a coincidence that Nwaneri is going into his last year of his contract. He's already asking about his game time, about the future plan. And the fact that everyone knows this, and seems like Liverpool, Borussia Dortmund, Chelsea, even Man City to some extent, all of them are interested already. In a 17-year-old, it shows a lot. And you want to tell me that Man City don't have enough young talent in their team, in their academy? Same goes for Liverpool, not to mention other teams. Like, it is worrying. And what happened last year as well with Aiden Heaven, Chido B. Martin, they both genuinely just looked at Arteta, most likely, and they went to 15th place Man United. 15th place Man United, and they even got more games than at Arsenal.
Yeah. Now, do you think this could further alienate Ethan with Arteta? Because it seems as though he had an agenda against the kid. Well, there was a report that he was late to training one day or whatever, and this is one of the reasons why he hasn't gotten all these minutes. And, bro, if the boy can't get minutes when we're 7-1 up against PSV at home, or we're 5-1 up at the Bernabeu, you know what that would do for the confidence of the young man, bro? I'm 17 and I touch grass at the Bernabeu. If he can't get those minutes, because we gave those minutes to Chelsea's. Sterling is Liverpool's pass, their City's pass, and Chelsea's trash, and he was getting those minutes ahead of Ethan, who is meant to be our future. Do you think, Arteta doesn't like anyone that demands anything or ruffles the dressing room or has any kind of personality? Do you think this would further put him down the pecking order? Why he's even linked with Chelsea?
Oh, it will. I think it could go very poorly really quick. We saw what he did with Aubameyang. He was visiting his ill mother. He was late for a Spurs game, if I'm not mistaken, that was. And it didn't take too long, and he was out of the club instantly, pretty much, in a blink of an eye. And these young guys, they come up, they obviously have attitudes, they have the swag and all this stuff, as they say. And you look even at Miles Lewis-Skelly, he's also the same breed. You can tell that he has the confidence, he knows what he can do, how good he is. And he's looking at these players we actually have in the team, and they genuinely know that they are better than them to some extent. But Skelly, it's a different talk, of course, given our left-back situation that still hasn't been resolved after, about 15 left-backs. But overall, I think Nwaneri is going to look at this, and if they cannot come to agreement of consistent game time, consistent plan, and the fact that he plays, I think he will just not sign and he will be gone next summer. And the worst part is that we saw how he treated Emil Smith-Rowe. He, together with Saka, saved his job in the 3rd year. He he came back from injuries. He got man of the match performances against Luton at home and he still, after that whole bench, played microwave minutes, literally. And next summer, he was off to Fulham.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, I can see where he could play, Nwaneri. There's obviously options where he can play. It's just the issue that Mikel Arteta has I like to call them the undroppables.
Yeah.
Like Odegaard and Saka, and he plays those two positions, which is really damaging for him in terms of game time. Because if Arteta sets his mind on something, he's never going to change it.
Yeah.
He's stubborn in that way. And Nwaneri could be genuinely found in such a predicament that there is no light at the end of the tunnel besides clawing a new tunnel outside in the wall of the cave, which is basically leaving Arsenal. And he has to do it himself. Because with Madueke coming in, that's the first worry.
Yeah.
The way he has been treated when he doesn't get minutes, and Sterling, who didn't kick a ball for Arsenal, what it feels like at all. 0 goals in Premier League, by the way. What a loan that was.
Yeah.
Also plays in front of him. When Saka was injured, Martinelli played right wing, Havertz played right wing, other players played right wing, Odegaard was injured. He played Merino there, Zinchenko there, Havertz played there, Trossard played there. Nwaneri also didn't kick a ball. And only once Arsenal fan base started to genuinely kick off massively in the comments, in the YouTube comments, on Twitter, everywhere, then he got some game time.
Yeah.
And the BX Gunner just put in the chat, ESR won Euro under 21 a few years ago.
Yeah.
Nwaneri now did the same.
Yeah.
Could it be genuinely deja vu all over again?
Yeah, I hear it, bro. And big up to BX Gunner, because this was one of the things that crossed my mind this morning in his comment when he said, little bro, It reminded me of when Man United, little bro, and took Van Persie off of us. And Chelsea, you've seen that doing the same thing. If they're going to offload Madueke, who they've outgrown, and then take one of our best upcoming prospects. Because I'm of the firm belief, I asked a Man United fan this morning that I stream with, I asked him, bro, do you think if we go to Chelsea right now and offer them 120 million for Cole Palmer, they'll sell him to us?
I could see why they would, because money, obviously.
Yeah,
but they kind of don't need it, but need it.
I don't think they would, because they actually value Cole Palmer. They didn't value Havertz. They didn't rate him. That's why they gave him to us, even though he won him the Champions League.
The thing is, Arsenal wouldn't do that, though.
Yeah.
We don't have the cojones, as Troy Deeney said. We don't have cojones to do that. To go to a big team, take their best player, we cannot do that.
Yeah.
Why? The biggest question is why? Why though we can't do that?
Yeah. What we can't be doing is even Man United are going to the mid-table and smaller clubs and taking their best player in a Cunha, and they want an Embuemo. We're taking the trash players from the top 6 teams. No, we should be taking the best players from these teams. And that's why I use the Cole Palmer reference, because I don't think Chelsea would sell us our best player. They wouldn't. No. Big up to Boy 10 against the BBK. I said it, then Arteta is going to spurn Ranieri by playing him against PSV and the other lower rated opposition. People said I was mad. It's all right, bro. He has an agenda against the kid. I don't know what, how many training sessions he may have been late to or whatever the case, but it's clear as you say, he's on droppables, and then the guys who may or may not get minutes, even though we were just, it was so glaring that we needed creativity. And when he overplayed Saka and Saka got injured, it was Nwaneri who came in and saved his ass. So if anything, he owes the kid more.
Yeah, but that also only happened. Nwaneri also didn't even play when they were injured. He played everyone else, and Nwaneri was his last resort.
Yeah,
just like with Skelly.
The Leicester game. I remember when Nwaneri came on in the Leicester game, and even though it was Moreno that scored the goals, I think Ethan hit the crossbar a couple of times. You know, when he got away down the right hand side. The kid is so talented, and I understand why he is holding off on that contract.
Yeah, he knows his value.
I don't want to commit my future to you when you're not going to play me. 800 minutes with all the injuries that the top gooners and the AFTV and all the Arteta defenders cry about. If he can't touch pitch with all those injuries, and when we're up 7-1 and 5-1 going through, and he can't get any minutes, there's something that's going on there, man. And I was like, bro, yeah, I don't blame the kid one bit, man, not one. So big up to Boy 10 again. It was only the injuries that peaked that Nwaneri got minutes. He was supposed to get minutes before that to avoid the injury pileup, and that's again management, absolute management. Big up to Rich, said Box Gunner, absolutely. His agent will be getting calls. Yeah, he's going to be getting plenty of calls.
Already he's getting calls. Last year.
Yeah. the Madueke thing has legs.
Damn.
It has strong legs. I told Waffle Down yesterday it's probably going to happen. I hope we do a U-turn on this, but what I'm curious to see is like there are a lot of Arsenal fans who were on streams, the big channels, cooking Madueke last year. How he's trash and how he's this and how he's that. But now that he's been linked to us, you know how these men are probably making compilations now of how good he is. But
dude.
My question is like, does Madueke improve our squad?
In what way?
For what we need to do, because it's much difficult for Man United improvement. They're coming from 50. It's very easy to go from 15 to top half. It's going to be very difficult for us to go from second to first, right?
Yeah.
Based on the additions that the teams that we're competing with for first have made. And Madueke is not that guy to move the needle for me. I'm sorry. I don't think
much rather would have kept Pepe though.
Huh?
Could have kept Pepe if that is the case.
Could have kept Pepe.
But also I see that that Madueke and Pepe to some extent are very similar. Like they need the pace, they need to run, they need to receive the ball at their feet so the defender kind of is on the back foot, so they can kind of do some step over, some dribbling, and they can take on their opponent. I'm not too sure.
I think of Big Meech, Larry Hoover, Maybach music.
Hey, Mikel music.
Ross, he's here. Now, go on, man. Sorry.
Mikel music in the building.
He's here.
But with Madueke, I'm not too sure if he's gonna be effective as touchline winger on when everyone's against mid-low blocks and everything. You could say Madueke in terms of maybe ability to take on opponents improve us, because Saka has the ability, but we don't see it as much as we should. I don't know if it's Arteta or what. Martinelli only ability is just to drive the ball out of play, pretty much. Then there was Sterling, of course. That's a different story. And then, Nelson, but come on. And that's about it. Yes, there's Ethan, but what's going to happen with Ethan, we still don't know. In that regard, I can see the point of being more technical, more skillful player there who can take on opponents. But after that, 50 million a year? Yeah. Not too sure. Not too sure if that is the best course of action at this situation for Arsenal. And I'm kind of worried about the wages as well, by the way.
Yeah. And, the thing is, right, Martinelli had a bad season, right? But one of the reasons why you can understand why Mikel plays him is because he tracks back a lot, right? He does a whole lot of track back and helps out the left winger. Madueke doesn't even do that.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're gonna sign a winger who gives you less work rate and less production, because he scored 7 Premier League goals, Martinelli scored 8, and Martinelli has been lambasted by rivals and our own fans as having a bad season. So essentially, Madueke is a downgrade on either wing we put him on. Like this just stinks of Arteta making another blunder. Like, big up to the assembled blunder man, doing his best impression to make us weaker. We have made ourselves weaker this transfer window, and finishing 10 points off Liverpool. It was a kind 10 points. That man stopped playing after match week 33 after they had the league wrapped up. And if this Madueke signing tells me that we want to compete for top 4, it doesn't tell me that we want to win the league. And I say compete for top 4 as in actually slug it out, not comfortably making top 4, because I don't see it, bro. I'm missing something, but I don't see it.
We definitely are missing something. We are not seeing the vision. The light bulb is not turned on, I guess, and everything. But for me, also the question mark is before these links grew some legs with personal terms, they were also suggesting that Madueke doesn't be a backup for Saka and he doesn't want to play left wing. So again, the question is, what changed? What changed so quickly in these terms? Plus, Madueke is on 50 grand a week as well, which means if he comes to Arsenal, it's going to be again 120, 150, something like that.
So he didn't want to play left wing, or he didn't want to be a Saka. So what changed is Enzo Maresca has told him the same thing he told Sterling. Like you're not going to play here. Did they sign Gittins already? Or did
yes. With João Pedro as well, and Pedro can play all all across the front three, you could argue to some extent.
Yeah. So if I wouldn't be surprised after this Club World Cup ends if you see Gittins or the João Pedro or whoever wearing the number 11 shirt. They'll say, hey, we're stripping you of your number the same way they took the 7 off Sterling and just gave it to Neto and said, go find yourself a club. Like he sees Maresca has sent the signal like you won't play here. Kind of like Vincent Kompany at Bayern had told that Matthias Stel, hey, you're not going to play here, go find you a club. That's how he ended up at Tottenham, right? So that's probably what changed. And these London boys, right, or these men who live in London, play in London, when they no longer can make it at Chelsea, oh yeah, I don't want to move. I live in London. I can go play across the street at Arsenal. And it's just like, a side pass, a back pass even, to add Madueke to our front line, because I really don't think he improves us at all.
Yeah, it's a big question. It's gonna be one of those where either it's gonna be, if we sign him, but it looks like we might actually, right? So it's gonna be either a masterstroke, because obviously we never know what's gonna happen. How we're gonna play next season, we still don't know if it's gonna be the same, because we expect the same. But if Arteta reverts the style back to 22-23 style, right? Madueke actually could be hella useful. Yeah. If we are looking from those terms, but it's going to be something like masterstroke or basically the last nail in the coffin, and by December, peace out.
Yeah.
Because I cannot imagine August something when the season begins, 18th, whatever the net date was.
August.
But, Old Trafford, front line, Madueke, Havertz, and someone else. Like, I just cannot. Kept playing goal and everything.
Yeah. I started this comment from Boy 10 earlier, because he said Madueke can beat his opponent off the ball, but his end product is not there. So it's kind of like he's essentially a Jeremy Doku, right?
Yeah.
He gets by his man and then kicks the ball out the stadium, or the pass is overhit, underhit to the opponent, or it's late. And then the striker or whoever is making the run is offsides. Like, it's just, and that's decision making. You can coach that, right?
Yeah.
You can coach that, but I don't trust Arteta to improve anyone. What attacker has improved under his tutelage?
No one.
And that's why I hold Saka in such high regard, to be able to maintain his form and his level of output, even though this manager is stifling our attack.
Yeah, despite Arteta, he's doing this, because if you even compare Bukayo Saka in the first full season Arteta had in like 2021 to compare to Saka now, it's not the same movements. It's not like he's slalom dribbling between 3-4 players and stuff like that. The style is different, everything is different, but he still has the output. That's how good he is, actually. The other players have not grown, because Martinelli and Saka pretty much came up at the same time, and it's night and day to some extent. Martinelli is Brazilian. Based on what skills he has, you would say he's from San Salvador or something like that. Not even from Brazil. Like, it's nuts. And the attack is less said than better. 80 million in 5 years. Come on, man.
Yeah. Now, big up to Boy 10. He says that Madueke is a statistical upgrade on Ethan Nwaneri, right? So I had looked at these this morning, right? And I look at Ethan's numbers, right? And I look at Ethan. He scored 4 goals in 889 minutes, right? 889 minutes Premier League goals. Sonny Madueke played 2,046 minutes.
3 times more.
That's 2.5 times more.
Yeah.
Than Ethan, and scored 7 gols. And 3 of those. And 3 of those came in one match against Wolves in a 6-2 win, is what I'm saying. So it was high volume. So you take those 3 away, and he scored 4 goals in 31 games in all those minutes. So I'm not sure that he's an upgrade. I'm not. I'm really not. So it's I don't know. We have too much evidence of Chelsea players not working out. And then we just keep doing it. I think it was Carl Guna that just saying, bro, this is like going through a brothel and keep getting the clap and you keep going back. You just keep going back. Like, how? Like, is this what the proven thing is? Like, we're only going to sign Premier. Was Kai Havertz Premier League proven? How's that worked out? Like, a good football player is a good football player. Like, Timber wasn't Premier League proven. We got him from the Eredivisie, and he's cooking.
Yeah.
Talented players are talented players. I'm not sure he's an upgrade on a 17-year-old. That's not $50 million worth. No, I just, Big up to E. Russ, the gentleman. What are your thoughts on it? Okay, we're speaking on it. Yeah. I think you will.
Like,
yeah, it's the top. I know. I understand why he wouldn't. I understand why he's hesitating. I think if Arteta starts slow and he's under the heat and then he gets sacked, don't be surprised if you hear breaking news whenever he signs a new deal, because now he knows the shackles are off. When you have the kind of creativity that he has, you don't want to play for a manager that makes you recycle the. He's going to try to turn him into another Jack Grealish. Like, well, man.
Like, it also depends who comes in.
Yeah.
Who would come in even? The big question. Who would come in instead if Arteta, for example, mid-season Arteta goes? Who we would go for? Because you just know Arsenal. We would go probably for Brighton's assistant or something like that. Like we wouldn't even sign like their main manager.
I don't know. And at this point, I trust that Berta, because if you were a sporting director, you're charged with hiring a coach. You better have a backup, because this can go pear-shaped at any time. And it doesn't have to be football related. Something can happen with Arteta.
Yeah.
Something can happen, like breaking news, Metropolitan Police, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you never know. Like, what if he doesn't, what if he resigns? Right? What if the coveted Barcelona, who love him so much, and PSG, who love him so much, decide, or Pep leaves and Man City goes for Luis Enrique, and PSG, who loves him so much because he's so highly rated, goes for him. There is life beyond Arteta, right? So, Andrea Berta, you have to do your due diligence as a sporting director and have managers lined up to replace this guy in case it goes pear-shaped, where I think it will if we start the season slow.
I think he already has.
Yeah.
For me, the thing is also, if we're willing to pay 15 million a year to Mikel Arteta, there should not be any obstacles to go and sign a high-class manager. Because most of the managers some of them don't even get half of what Arteta is getting in the specific clubs they are the managers in. Yeah. And there are kind of no excuses on those levels. And if it's like similar like US with the franchises like NBA, where general manager can pick and sign the manager, the main coach. If Berta gets the same power as sporting director, to some extent, of course, with just advisory and who says he would work well with, I kind of trust in that regard. I would trust Andrea Berta to get the proper manager in.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear it. Now, do you think we're watching Bayern and PSG play right now, right? Do you think that Vincent Kompany on his CV deserved that job?
Overall?
Yeah.
No.
Right. I agree. But he was given a chance, right? Thomas Tuchel is a better manager than Vincent Kompany. Right? But they sacked Tuchel and they gave Vincent Kompany a chance and they won the title. Right? So you sack Arteta and you give someone else a chance. That's the overarching point that I'm making, is that the people who always run that narrative and say, well, who we're going to get? Bro, there are other football managers out there. You give Iraola a chance. You give someone else a chance and you give him 2 years and either you win or you piss off. Because had Vincent Kompany not won the Bundesliga last year, he would have been sacked.
Yeah, most likely, yeah.
Yeah, so you give someone else a chance because what qualifications did Arteta have coming into the job anyway?
Few cones.
Put out first for Pep, and here's the thing: are we sure? I've asked this question. Like, are we sure that Pep taught this man anything? Like, he sat next to Pep, but are we sure Pep taught him anything? Because we've never seen Pep stockpile defenders and goalkeepers this way.
No. This is the biggest argument as well. Arteta was in charge for one game when Pep's mother passed away or something like that in Champions League against Lyon, that infamous game. And that was the first loss at home City had suffered in Champions League in 4 or 5 years.
Oh, wow.
That should have been an indication in the first place. But overall, maybe Pep has taught Arteta everything Arteta knows, but 100% you can bet he hasn't taught everything Pep knows. Just like Mr. Miyagi, he teaches you everything you know, but he doesn't teach everything he knows. Similar type of situation, and that's why he gets the over him one all the time. Well, not all the time, most of the time. I'll just put it.
Yeah. So there's the content creator called Gunner Street, young Arsenal fan. He's very happy clapper, likes the club, loves Arteta and all this stuff. So yesterday he asked me, what would you give the transfer window so far? And I said 0 out of 10. I said 0 out of 10. Man got enraged and was like, explain. And I was like, okay, so far we've signed a backup goalkeeper. End of.
That's it. Yeah.
But I'm saying they were like, what am I meant to say? Like, what if the transfer window ended right now? What would you give it? If it's anything over a 1, then you're crazy to me. You know,
the goalkeeper. That's Wenger levels window with check and everything. That's those Wenger level windows. I still believe that Zubimendi is stuck in airport like Tom Hanks in the terminal. He just cannot get out.
Yeah.
No keys, no passport, no nothing, no work visa, maybe even. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like there were talks that obviously Arsenal didn't announce Zubimendi on Thursday because of Diogo Jota and his brother passing away. Yesterday I read that they are not announcing him because of what happened on Thursday, which was a bit odd, I'm not gonna lie. And then a few hours later, the infamous stuff came out. That is the biggest topic right now regarding Arsenal in general.
Yeah.
Like the timing as well is a bit, it's weird. Like if I look at it that way. Yeah. But I kind of believe that we are signing only backups. We are building from, backwards. We have spent how much money? 50, 55, 70. Mosquera hasn't been. Now we have spent 70 million right now, technically, on 3 backups. Well, I'm assuming they are signing. Let's just put it that way. Well, of course, Mendy won't be a backup, but in general speaking. And so 70 million, you want to tell me we couldn't have gotten a striker or winger? Looking at Liverpool, who are not in Club World Cup, and they have already signed Bertz, Kerkez, Frimpong, and going up. Sold Kwanzaa, they are looking at Margehi. And then you look at City, yes, they are in Club World Cup, but their summer window started in January. Their owner himself admitted that they screwed up last summer. Yeah. So they started rectifying that already in January. Meanwhile, Arsenal, well, we are, I know, slowly baking oven or something like that.
Yeah.
And the end product will be half raw when it comes out.
Yeah. PSG are 1-0 up. Doué.
Yeah. Desiree Doué.
Yeah.
Damn. Why didn't we sign him?
Because we got Martinelli. I read the article where we were linked with him. And now Arteta was like, no, we got Martinelli.
Like we need strikers. We share the goals around. That was 2 years ago, 22-23 season.
Yeah. Oh man. So it's if the season starts, Robo, and we start goals, 5-5 and we blitz everyone and we're flying high at the top of the table, I'll gladly eat my words. But
5-4-5. Seriously? That optimistic?
So I said that I made that statement before the fixture list even came out because I didn't want to use the fixture list as an excuse. We have to start fast because we have proven that we can't chase
United, Leeds, Liverpool, Forest, Man City, and you want a 5-4-5.
Yeah, I said that before the list even came out.
Oh, I see.
What I don't want is because here's what they do. They said one of the biggest things that they used to prop up Arteta is his record against the Big Six.
Yeah.
Right. So and all of a sudden we get some big six fixtures in our first games and they're crying.
3 of them.
Okay, why? We're good against them. So what's the problem?
Well, United always looking at track history. United Old Trafford, no matter how bad United are, they're always up for it, and we struggle. Liverpool away haven't won a game there since 2012. That is already rough. And Man City at home, we tend to do well against them, but you never know. Plus Champions League in between. Who knows if we get someone massive in between? After Man City, we have Newcastle away, and we all know how that is going, most likely.
Yeah. Now it's definitely not going to be 5-5. But what it can't be is Liverpool and City go 5-5, and we go 2-1-2. Then it's done.
But if Liverpool and City go 5-5, we already have lost 2 games. We played them in the first 5. Like that already is 6 points. Already from no matter how you look at it, behind the first place.
Yeah.
In terms of that, it could end very quickly if we don't act right now. It could end in the first few games already. Leeds at home, it's not going to be easy as people think as well.
Yeah, because we tend to struggle against newly promoted sides.
Yep.
I remember even last year Southampton came up, right? And at the Emirates, remember they went up. The game finished 3-1, but it was a nervy 3-1,
kind of lucked out, to be honest. If that Leeds game was at Elland Road, Though it would have been hella long. Hella long that would have been. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Paco red card. Oh.
Oh, Man City balling it. Oh, sorry, PSG, Man City. Freaking hell.
Yeah, but bro, this
Anthony Taylor as the ref. Holy crap.
yeah. Well, I saw that earlier. I didn't want to. I was like, they're gonna give this game of this magnitude with these teams to that guy because he gave a dubious yellow in the first half to I was this guy, man. There's a reason why these shit refs don't get most of the World Cup games, But PSG and Bayern, they're gonna learn today. But the Eze talks, right? You've done streams on our links with Eze. You think it's a smoke screen or we're actually linked with Eze?
I don't know because they say that we are linked, but there are no bids, nothing concrete going in. And at the moment, the way I'm looking at this, Arsenal have used Rodrigo and Eze as a smokescreen for Madueke. Where does that should be other way around? Like if you look at it like in terms of that, but Eze I would take at Arsenal in a heartbeat. Send Odegaard back to Faroe Islands, wherever, and everything. But I don't think the sad part is knowing Arsenal, we are not going to sign 3 massive players. We sign 1, and it also happens every few years. Actually, like Özil, then Alexis, Aubameyang, then Declan Rice. We most likely are going to sign 1, maybe 2 if we push our luck. I don't see us getting all 3. Hence why these Madueke links have some legs, have massive legs. Let's just put it that way. And that for me is a big worry because if we are linked with Rodrigo and Eze, and at the end of the day, Madueke comes in for that left wing, I already can imagine, like, what's today, 5th, right? Let's just say week or so. Arsenal, Madueke, confirmed. Here we go. He's doing medicals. He's flying to Singapore with the club. I already can see fan base already in meltdown. Like people say, be patient. Be excited, Josh said.
Yeah.
Now I have to be patient for this, and I have to be excited for this.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure. I genuinely not too sure what's going to happen. But overall, for me, Eze is a 10. For me, he's more dangerous to central areas than from the wing. And I think if we sign him as a left winger and we shove him out literally to left wing, it will do more harm than good. Because if we want actually some dangerousness and some abilities, we need both wings to act. We are so lopsided at the moment that if they triple team Saka, Odegaard is lost instantly. They're in headlights. He has nobody to play the passes to. And the left side, once we do it there, well, they are not in the game. They don't get used to often during games at times. And even then, Arteta persists on keeping the ball, keeping the possession, being in control. So 9 times out of 10, you don't actually see player getting taken on. And the sad part is when he does get taken on, Martinelli doesn't have the abilities to do that. He usually throws the ball by the player and tries to outpace him. And the last time he did that against Everton, he got pocketed by 40-year-old Ashley Young.
Yeah.
Like it's not too promising at the moment. Of course, Madueke would improve that on the left wing if we are looking like pound per pound point of view in terms of abilities, arguably. But overall, for me, he's not the answer. And Eze would work at Arsenal, but to what extent? Because Eze would be amazing signing from a manager who is attacking.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
Yeah, we've seen Eze boss and cook in a team with Crystal Palace where he's the only creative outlet. Essentially, the only creative outlet. It's him, hold the ball up, play Arteta through. Gets a little bit of help from Sarr, lost his best wingman to Bayern Munich, and still was able to cook and drag him to a FA Cup. I think he would cook in Arsenal if he's allowed to play his game. He's allowed to be Eze, not turn into a robot, pass here, move there, pass here, move there. And my biggest concern is from where we are as a football club, it seems that we are going into another season unprepared or underprepared, so to speak. Underprepared. I think City have restocked and they feel like it's time to reclaim their throne. I think that strategy now, let me ask you this, as sensitive as it may be, we do football content, so we have to cover all things football.
Yeah.
Do you think the tragedy at Liverpool will force them to fill that gap?
Yes.
Because it's a hell of a miss. That replacing Jota is That's a hole in their squad now. And there were links with Isak and this player and that player before, while Jota was in the squad. Now that he is tragically passed, Liverpool has now that FSG have an opportunity to uplift their fan base again.
Yes.
With the state signing, and that would mean trouble for us.
Oh, 100%. I would even say that Jota was the most clinical finisher at Man City. At Liverpool, sorry. Yeah. At Liverpool. And yes, he was injury prone. There's no argument about that. At the same time, when he was playing, he always scored against us. That's the first thing, of course. Just like Firmino and Demman at the time. But he's going to be missed unless they fill that hole there. And now what Liverpool did with Jota and his contract, also big applause to them. Like they terminated they bought out his contract, so all the money, the revenue, the whatever 15 million or what was left of his contract, went straight to his family, to mom, and they did that. So they have a hole to fix, and I can see them. There's obviously right now even less of a chance they can sell Diaz, which obviously was a hot talking point in terms of Al Nassr and Barcelona. And I think this gives them even more incentive and reason to go into the market once again. And now they're going to get Isak, Ekitike. They're going to go get someone. Someone they must get, actually. Yeah. They are in that position. Despite everything they have, they must get someone.
Yeah, they must. And we're not musting. Like, we absolutely must. So with the Gyökeres seems to be the front runner now. All right, this is Sesko, and it's the juggling of the strikers. If Gyökeres is your guy and Sesko is your guy, just go get him. Go get him, and so we can get our preseason started. Why are we still moving like we don't know what we're doing? The undecisiveness can cost us, because another curveball can be thrown in this transfer window that none of us can predict. The same way we couldn't predict this, this Jota thing, right? Yeah. So it's like you handle your business early, because we get no advantage from waiting.
Yeah. For me, that was the biggest worry. I've done quite a few, I actually say, YouTube shorts on this, that the longer this drags out, the bigger chance someone comes and swoops in.
Yeah.
And looking at Liverpool's situation, don't be surprised that in a few days even, Liverpool go in and just drop 70-80 million for Gyökeres. Don't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
Yeah.
100% I wouldn't, because even when they had Jota, right, they still needed a striker, no matter how you look at it. They need a finisher up top. I would say, at least. And now they need that striker even more. And I wouldn't be surprised. Again, they're not going to go for Sesko, because let's be real, Liverpool has a brain cell. Yeah. They most likely would go for Gyökeres or Ekitike, the way I see it, at least. Gyökeres would be arguably for them the most viable option in that regard.
Yeah.
And that again for Arsenal spells trouble.
Yeah, I actually think Chelsea was going to do that. Like when Chelsea signed Delap, a Chelsea fan asked me, what do you think of the Delap sign? And I was like, okay, I think Chelsea have made a decision on Jackson that he is not it, but Delap is going there to be a deputy for the striker that they're actually going to get. And I thought Chelsea was going to actually go get Gyökeres after we got Sesko, after it was clear that Sesko, when the story broke that Sesko was Arteta's long-term plan from last season, I was like, okay, we're going to get Sesko. Chelsea's going to get Gyökeres, and he's going to go over there and bang while we get someone who could only score fucking 13 Bundesliga goals last year. Big up to Cooper 12. Big up to the Unapologetic podcast in the building. Cooper says, where is Nwaneri's position in this team? I thought he was Saka's backup. He's Saka's backup when every other option has been exhausted. When Arteta goes around like when we had left back issues, and he played everyone but Zinchenko at left back. He would when Timber got injured or whatever, he put Partey at right back, and then he moved Timber to left back instead of playing Tierney or Zinchenko or Calafiori, who he bought. It seems as though he was moving the entire lineup around not to play Nwaneri. But Nwaneri can play in the 10. Remember the PSG at home game when he came on? Odegaard got 85 minutes. That kid came on, and within 3 minutes played Martinelli clean through for a chance that he kicked in Rosette.
Yep.
So he gave us more creativity in 3 minutes than our captain gave us in 85. Yeah. And, anyone with eyes can see that he is clearly talented and he has flair. He can beat his man. He can do this. He can do that. But the manager, because he's not a robot and just doesn't recycle the ball. The manager just, another red card. Jesus.
Oh, damn. Doesn't like him. PSG 2 reds. Oh, it's crumbling. At least it's 95th minute, though. Oh, they have 4 minutes to suffer here. Still. Like, damn.
That shit has a win. But
for me as well, to be honest, when I was watching the games, Zinchenko played in the 3 games for Arsenal last season or 2. Yeah. In those 3 games, he did more than Odegaard the whole season.
Yeah, remember the PSV at home game? He started in the 10 and actually shot the ball
and scored.
One of the things we actually been screaming about for Odegaard: shoot the ball, shoot the ball. We go to Anfield the last week of the season. He shoots the ball. The best goalkeeper in the world can't handle it, and we equalize. This club just does my head in with the craziness. So he's way too good not to play, and that's what the player is saying.
That's why Nwaneri doesn't play most likely, because he wants to shoot from outside the box. That's his signature move. Well, not like similar like Arjen Robben. Cuts inside, few touches around defender, and then far corner wallops it. And he scores more often than not those chances as well.
Yeah,
so he scored against City.
Remember the goal he scored against City, right? Yeah, Odegaard getting that same spot. He's looking for a pass. He's looking for a back post pass to Trossard or to whoever. Nwaneri's like, no, bro, I'm going for the far corner. Man, our manager, I'm telling you, he's an agent, bro. He's an agent. He's a really exciting player. He is class, bro. Chelsea want him. Arteta's stepson, Odegaard. Yeah, he wants, and that's the thing. Why I want a new manager with a fresh set of eyes, who's not emotionally attached to Odegaard. He's not emotionally attached to Havertz. A new manager comes in to say, for example, Xabi. Someone mentioned Xabi in the squad. Xabi comes in, all of a sudden, Kai Havertz is not a bona fide starter. He has 2 options. Either you put in a transfer request or you raise your game. Either one benefits us, right?
Either way, yeah.
Odegaard, you raise your standards, or you won't be playing. I don't have any problems with that. I'm not emotionally attached to any of these players, bro. We've seen Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira, all these men leave our club. So
yeah, we need a manager who is not emotionally detached from attackers and attackers.
Yeah,
like that. It's insane.
Yeah, someone who puts the club first. First thing new manager would sell Odegaard and Kai. Anyone who actually, rates Kai Havertz as a footballer for a title-winning team, I question your judgment. I don't think he is an absolute garbage player. I just don't think he can be the number 9 for a Premier League winning team. And the proof is there. He's been in the Premier League for 6-7 years now, and Chelsea got rid of him after he was living off the Champions League goal for however long. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But what you got? Oh shit! Who scored?
PSG.
Dembele.
Dembele.
Ballon d'Or winner. Is
he might actually, if they win the Club World Cup as well,
Yeah, he should win it, innit? Yeah, so Bayern
2-0.
And they're out. Yeah,
nice counter.
Wait a minute. They scored with 9 men.
Yeah, I thought that was impossible. That was forbidden.
Oh man, I know. Lawrence Emmanuel, Arsenal fan. He's gonna tie that to Harry Kane. He was like, Harry Kane has brought his Spursiness to Bayern.
At least he won something finally.
Yeah, he did. Right, they had to have won it last year.
Oh my God, Hakimi, that dribbling before the goal between 4 defenders.
What a baller! What a baller! But tell the people what you got coming up, man. I'm sure you go live today for your regular show at 8 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going live. Gonna talk about Madueke, Madueke, whatever you want to call him.
My dog shit.
Yeah, gonna talk about Madueke. We're gonna talk about the latest rumors, and there are some reports suggesting. I don't remember. Let me check. Let me quickly.
Yeah, I'm very worried, AJ. I am shitting bricks, bro. So the beginning of July is the same thing we're doing at the beginning of June, right? And the goosebumps still haven't hit yet. We were told to relax, guys. It's only the 5th of June. Well, today's only the 5th of July. And the 5th of August will be here before you know it. And, the 17th of August will be here before you know it. And 1 September will be here before we know it. And then they're going to say, hey, the squad is the squad. Shut up. Let's just go on with it.
Yep. Yeah. It's going to be like that. We're going to talk about Arteta's ultimatum today as well.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, man.
That apparently there are reports suggesting that Mikel Arteta has given the board and everyone else say that no more than 2 weeks I need a striker or F off, basically. Something like that. That's I think that's PR just to make us kind of talk about it, and we're gonna, obviously, but everything. But like, it's scary. To be honest, there were talks that Arteta wants striker before Singapore, so most likely it is gonna happen. Just who? But we're gonna talk about Arsenal, of course. There's nothing else to talk about. We're gonna talk about Eze. We're gonna talk about Madueke, which is gonna take definitely a big portion of the stream. We're gonna talk about Rodrigo, because apparently he has rejected Saudi offer. I want Premier League specifically. If he decides to leave. If he decides to leave, right? We're gonna talk about all that. We're gonna talk about life, most likely. Always something like that goes in, and sometimes even NBA hits the channel. I had a stream where we just talked football, Arsenal, got sick of it, and generally 20-25 minutes of the stream we talked about NBA and stuff like that. Most relaxing, chill, and fantastic stream I've had in a while. I'm not gonna lie. Away from Arsenal and everything.
Anything but Arsenal put your mind at ease. You start talking about this club and how we move, your blood pressure goes up.
They need volleyball, something like heart medicine, the old school like grandma medicine to calm the nerves and everything.
But people, make sure you are subscribing to the Latvian Guna. It's Mr. Robo. It's the same guy with just a different name. It's been rebranded. It's great content over there. We're gonna leave it there, Latvian Guna. Appreciate you hopping on BBK Sports for your debut, bro. It was a thorough pleasure to listen to you speak all things Arsenal. It's one of them ones. And I'll always say before we get out of here, people, take care of yourselves and each other. Until next time, we are out.